think the whole thing is flawed.
Yeah.
So they do not have the reverence for the institutions that Democrats have and have no problem tearing it down because they don't believe in it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean,
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Brian Tyler Cohen forcing these Fox News anchors to admit that Trump is out of his freaking mind. We have Brian Tyler Cohen and Alex Michelson. Let's get into it.
so when it comes to California politics, you're the guy. You are the main California politics reporter out here. And right now, California is very much in the news as this redistricting fight really starts to heat up. So first and foremost, and I spoke with this about Gavin Newsom when I interviewed him a couple of weeks back, but do you think that this is actually going to happen? Do you think that Newsom is fully committed to moving forward with this?
I think Newsom's fully committed. This week, I spoke to the chair of the DNC, Ken Martin, nationwide, and that they are fully committed to California doing this. I mean, as long as Texas moves forward, they've said that if Texas doesn't, they're not going to do it. But if Texas moves forward, and all indications are that Texas is, California is going for this for a variety of reasons. It's completely in Gavin Newsom's best interest to do this. He realizes, I think, that his way to be a serious contender for the Democratic presidential nomination is to be seen as the strongest fighter. If you go back to Mortal Kombat when we were kids, it's like choose your fighter, right? And he's trying to be seen as somebody who's the fighter that you would choose. And so this is a real way that he can use California's supermajority in both the Assembly and the Senate to produce actual results for the Democratic Party and give the Democrats a real shot at winning the House. If Texas moves forward and California doesn't do this, Democrats are essentially shut out, most likely, of any chance to win the House. You look at the map for the Senate, they're probably not going to win the Senate. And obviously, we know for the next 2 years, they're not going to have control of the White House. So this is kind of the one shot. Newsom is all in on it. The DNC is going to be all in and giving him money to do it. I think you're going to see a lot of Democratic donors rally to this cause. But it's not a 100% slam dunk for sure thing that California voters are going to say yes to it. They have a special election that would probably happen on November 4th, near when we're going to have these, elections in New Jersey and Virginia. But now there's going to be a California.
Right, and this is the start of their conversation. Brian Tyler Cohen is bringing up what's happening in Texas as far as Greg Abbott wanting to gerrymander the state. That is what their sort of intention is at this moment. You have Governor Newsom, Gavin Newsom of California, who's saying, hey, look, if you guys, we're going to have to do this. It has to be an even playing field. If this is going to get done on one side, we're going to have to do something else, not allow this to happen, which I think that it is good to have the backbone, more or less, to not allow someone to, if you have to defend yourself, you will have to defend yourself. That's just how it goes. And I think that Gavin Newsom is doing a decent job as far as that issue is concerned.
Election on an off year, and there's going to be tremendous pressure for California voters to basically make the decision to take less power for themselves, less power for independent redistricting, and try to make the system more partisan.
Yeah, but look, the reality is that what we are doing right now is just unilateral. I can make the case to you. I think you understand the case that I would make, which is that.
And you've been, and let's give you credit. You've been ahead of this issue for years and way ahead of other people. You've seen this fight coming for a long time. You've been trying to encourage people to be part of this fight for a long time when a lot of people, frankly, dismissed you. And now that it's happening, all of a sudden, everybody wants to get behind this concept, which is something that you've been talking about for a while.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And look, I think that there is no virtue in unilaterally disarming. And that's what we've done for so long. And we've watched Republicans gerrymander the everlasting hell out of Ohio and North Carolina and Wisconsin and Florida and Texas one time already, and Utah and just states across the country, while Democrats engage in good governance in hopes of ushering in some reciprocation that never arrives. And so at this point, we can continue to unilaterally disarm and hope that Republicans are going to see that goodwill and respond. And when they don't, we're going to recognize that we're just permanently pushing ourselves out of government. And I don't think that that's what anybody wants. And it certainly isn't ushering in an era of good governance to watch Republicans run roughshod over the country.
Yeah, I
It
mean, you end up with a system where, a lot of people were taught as kids, two wrongs don't make a right. So if you really believe in this concept that there should be independent redistricting, that it shouldn't be driven by partisan politics, that then for you to make the choice to get rid of that system is hard for some people to get there. That being said, if you are a partisan, which in California, a majority of people are Democrats, 25% more Democrats than Republicans, and you see what Trump is doing and you're fearful about everything else, then you say, all right, this is what we got to do for now. The problem is, in the Cold War, they talked about mutually assured destruction. What we're doing, both parties are doing here, is destroying democracy.
And this is where it does get tricky because we're going to say, oh, we are, causing the end of our own democracy. But I would go to disagree and say that is more or less the lobbyists that have sort of caused these problems as the corporations that have bought out both parties. That is the current leader that is running, damn near an autocracy. I would say that all of these factors more or less go into destroying a democracy more than the people that are going for, hey, we should defend ourselves against the one party that is literally wanting to embrace tyranny.
Now, I know you would say Republicans bear more responsibility for that. And in fact, they are the ones taking the charge on this. So let's be clear about that. But what's happening with this Democratic response is we are making the system less democratic, less fair, and we're making our politicians less responsive to the needs of the actual people. And so we're going to have a system that only increases partisanship and decreases actual connection to real voters.
And so my pushback to that would be, look, it is one party, the Democrats, that are pushing for a ban on partisan gerrymandering. And they've tried to push that through with H.R. 1. Not a single Republican voted for it. And so, look, I understand that it's easy to look at this in a vacuum right now, as if we were all just born today, and to see, oh, look, this is a race to the bottom. But the end of the line for Democrats is that we have a ban on partisan gerrymandering nationwide. The end of the line for Republicans in their ideal world is just all of the Republican states are gerrymandered to within an inch of their lives. So there is a different goal at the end of this for both parties. The Democrats don't want to engage in a process where we just gerrymander all of our states and that's just how it goes. Our goal at the end of this is to actually ban partisan gerrymandering and to have fair maps across the country. We tried one avenue where we have these independent redistricting commissions in our major Democratic strongholds like California and New York. It was never reciprocated by Republicans. And so now if we're going to try to have good governance at the end of this, then you need to get in power to be able to do anything. And the only way to get in power while Republicans are gerrymandering is to fight back, fight fire with fire, get in the majority, and then pass some of these reforms that we actually want to see.
Well, I mean, when there was actually a push to do independent redistricting in California, like 2008, 2010, that period. There weren't a lot of Democrats that were behind it. Gavin Newsom was one of them who was, but most were not because it would be bad for the party. And when Democrats had a chance to have full control of government a few times in the last, 25, 30 years, they did not pass independent gerrymandering around the country. So most parties operate for whatever's in their particular best interest. But it is obvious and objective that Republican Party and many people in the Republican Party do not believe in the government system itself. Right. Think the whole thing is flawed. Yeah. So they do not have the reverence for the institutions that Democrats have and have no problem tearing it down because they don't believe in it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
clear that that's why Trump has even gotten a following in the first place is because of people's distrust of the government. You can see that he ran sort of off of this populist angle that I am here, I can't be bought out. I'll never be bought out by the corporations. You won't see me. I already have so much money. What do I need money for? And it's clear that, oh no, he just is the new corporate. He is the one that is going to swindle. He is the next juggernaut. He's the one who's getting this payout. It's not that he's answering to anyone, but he's created his own systems now to where he can sell his $10,000 watches to his fans. He can become this cult. He was never in it for the money in the first place. All he does want is power.
I mean, look,
so there is a difference there.
I would push back and say this is well beyond reverence for institutions. This is not us defending the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Like this is This is a basic respect for the core tenets of democracy. This is just allowing fair representation in the House. This is deigning to allow Democrats to have a majority when they get more votes. I mean, we've seen the ways in which they've gerrymandered their states, that they're continuing to do this mid-cycle redistricting. This is not just a lack of reverence for institutions. This is Republicans completely abandoning democracy and our democratic institutions as we know.
There we have it, you guys. We have Brian Tyler Cohen going in on Alex Michelson. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that it's not both sides doing a race to the bottom. It is one side playing unfair. So, just to be able to keep up, to have to, not get completely consumed by it, you also have to, you just have to set firm boundaries. You have to say, hey, look, we're in this together, but I have to also let you know that you're not going to find the loophole. If you're going to find the loophole and you're going to not play by those rules, there's a new set of rules that we're both going to play by now. So it's very much not, both sides are getting corrupted. It is one side having to, constantly be dynamic enough to stay within the flow of things, within the new rules that are going in with some lunatics. We have to share this country with people that just don't even respect the rules to begin with. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.